Alright, what's up guys? Taylor here doing the nightly video on the 8th of January. And jumping in here taking a look at the rankings off the scorecard. Most things are pretty bullish. The indices, so if we take the RSP, IWM, Dow Jones, S&Ps, and the QQQ, collectively they're at about 82% of their best score here. Pretty bullish. The sectors about 20-something tickers over here, they have a collective 51%. That leans pretty bullish, and then the Big 10 basket, that'd be these 10 names. Here your Netflixes, your Apples, Googles, Nvidias, they make up like 35% of the S&P 500. They collectively are at only 4% of their best score. Point here being the strongest things are currently not the most heavily weighted. And a few of the weaker names are the big boys. And that can make for a day where the IWM is up 1%, the Dow's up 0.5, the S&Ps are flat, and the QQQ is down about 0.7. So it is S&Ps versus QQQ, and if we jump over here to the S&P futures, they've got this beautiful, beautiful daily squeeze setting up. We took a little profit out of it on the pop into the 7K level earlier in the week. But yeah, I mean, as far as a daily squeeze, that is pretty much perfecto. 15 points of the 15, great structure at the buy zone. In most cases, you want to take that and call for a path eventually into the extension around 7,100. The problem being, I don't think the S&Ps can rally 2% and change here. With, Apple looking like Apple looks. Major breakdown, a -5. You've got the action in Meta. Not the greatest. Under the 21, under the 50, under the 200, and then kind of a short-term fall from grace here in Tesla, which I had a pretty good month of December on. Tesla takes out 440, couple of sell triggers, and then you have, of course, Netflix here, who's been, pretty much dead money for a while now. That's not great. And then on the other end, you do have a few here. One being Google. Google got into, I believe, a brand new all-time high of 330 and change here at the open. And that was good for a little profit earlier in the week off of the 4-hour and the 2-hour squeeze. But yeah, as a collective basket, it leaves a lot to be desired. And yeah, that can keep the S&Ps and in a few of the better looking parts of the market here, materials and energy and healthcare, industrials, healthcare. The relative weakness in a few of these names can hold back the market from getting the job done. Now, the opposite is true. If we get better action from the Metas and the Apples, the Googles, well, Google's in pretty good shape here. But if a few of these weaker Big 10 names can try to shape up in reverse, then they get a better QQQ. At that point, I think you call for a breakout on the S&Ps. But if we all wake up tomorrow and the QQQ is gapped down into, 615, 610, don't think we'll get the S&P breakout. And then for the Qs here, if you look at the weekly time frame, and it could take a while, but what I think should make for the eventual next, call it big meaningful move, that should come from your brand new weekly squeeze here. And the Qs have a weekly squeeze, a 3-day squeeze, and a 2-day squeeze. And again, the indicator likes it for a breakout until things change. 15 points at a 15, good structure, all the fixins for a push. It's pretty much all you have, though, as far as a buy trigger. No 15-minute, no 5. So yeah, tough spot here. On bigger time frames, I like it for a long. On lower time frames, I want to be patient. And all the while waiting for relative strength where I think it matters most. But for a few of these here, let's go look into some Amazon. Amazon's shaping up pretty nice here. So, few squeezes here for the one they calls on. The big boy being the monthly squeeze. And I think, if anything, it looks a lot like Google from back in June, July. Poised for a path into 285-ish. Market willing. And then beneath that, you have a beautiful weekly squeeze. Got the green arrow, target at 270-ish. And then you have, for good measure, both a 3-day squeeze and a 2-day squeeze here. That one I would love to buy on a dip. Earnings are coming up when? Looking like maybe early February. So yeah, we got to work around earnings, of course, but beautiful multi-time frame squeeze there for Amazon, path into potentially 270 or higher. And then what about TSM here? TSM's got some decent rankings. Believe earnings are next week here. I don't think I'm going to buy it before the report. Depending on the action after that report, if I could catch it on the flush, it does have a really nice squeeze here on the 3-day time frame. And that could go hand in hand potentially with our 3-day squeeze on the SMH. Indicator likes it, 15 points into 15. The only tricky thing about the SMH, if we jump to the king of the chip hill here, Nvidia, it's not bad. It's just very stuck. 15-minute squeeze setting up with a 2-hour, a 4-hour, a daily, a 3-day, and a weekly squeeze above it. And hey, I'd love to imagine and fantasize that they can eventually take the weekly squeeze, get the buy trigger, and that'll be your path back into 215, 220. And again, that can go hand in hand with your QQQ 3-day squeeze, QQQ 3-day squeeze, QQQ weekly. You got the squeeze here on the SMH. Even a few of your chip names, Qualcomm, for example. Objectively, way more bullish here on the weekly than Nvidia. But Nvidia is a big dog, and I think your first good, strong close above 190, at that point you look for the entry. And that could be the entry on the weekly squeeze. You maybe drill down to a 30-minute or a 1-hour squeeze. One that we're currently watching here is going to be the 4-hour. It did look a lot better there yesterday. But yeah, if they can get any kind of bid here in the big names for end of week, then possibly next week we get another green arrow here. Again, I think you wait for a close through 190. Otherwise, you have the rejection, looking like Dikembe Mutombo blocking shots up here. So keep an eye on a video through 190. But otherwise, guys, the biggest and the most current issue I see is not a weak market, but a weak Big Ten basket. Netflix, Meta, Microsoft, Broadcom, Apple, Tesla, they could all get a lot better here. And until they do, I think the idea of a breakout on the S&Ps is a little tougher to get. You know, they got to buy a lot of, they have to buy a lot of healthcare, industrials, and material stocks to make up for a weaker QQQ. But man, what a pretty daily squeeze. So any signs of progress in the QQQ, any action for that Big Ten basket, that could be one good idea for a swing on the futures. But alright, y'all, thank you for watching. Hope you have a good night, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Adios.
What's up, traders? This is Taylor from Simpler Trading. I wanted to thank you for watching our video, and if you liked the video, go on ahead and comment down below, hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell icon to get a notification anytime we upload our next video. And of course, if you want to watch us trade live in real time with our own money, check us out at simplertrading.com. Until then, trade safe, and I'll catch you in the next video.